few weeks ago, an important collaborator of Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, was arrested for pedophilia and child pornography. I'm referring to Slade Summer, a man with ties to the world of Broadway and cinema, who played a role in the effort to debunk the infamous Pizzagate affair. That is, the network, filthy complicity and horrendous crimes against minors that revolves around the international deep state. We have learned that certainly Jeffrey Epstein and most likely Ghislaine Maxwell were members of the Israeli Mossad. This makes us understand that the famous trips of many well-known people to Epstein Island were used to blackmail them by collecting evidence of their guilt in participating in heinous ritual crimes against minors. And if the heads of state and governance officials of the Western world do not dare to breathe out a word of protest against the massacres of civilians in Gaza Strip, it's legitimate to assume that this attitude is due to the intensive dossier with videos inculpating them that are in possession of the Israeli intelligence services. The same thing must be happening with the preparation of the fake pandemic emergency, which was lavishly replicated in all the member states of the World Economic Forum and the United Nations, and also with the farce of the Ukrainian crisis. But this blackmail of the powerful of the world constitutes the unifying.
Alrighty, we're going to stop it right there. Anyway, actually, it just stopped. But how is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? It is indeed. Oh, are we identifying today as a marker date? 11.3 will signify as marker, or was that 11.11? But I'm very interested in what's coming up on 11.11, possibly. But before we get into too many things down the trail there, that was, I don't know if you can call him Archbishop anymore, because I believe he was excommunicado for talking about the things that he was just talking about, and the Catholic Church did not like that. Now, he brought up Slade Somer, who had been arrested a few times in the past, in 23, 24, former national press editor. That was who he was talking about during that event there. But he was also talking about our little friend and all of the little bit of blackmail that he was doing. And that was, for me, a new one. I had not seen that one, but apparently it's a little bit older. But before we get into too many stories, we will hear from Miss Lisa. As the true gentleman, Mac insists we hear from ladies first. How's it going today, Miss Lisa? How's the world treating you over in the UK these days?
Interestingly, there's interesting things going on in the UK, and there's a lot of non-interesting things going on in the UK where we're just repeating what's already been done in America. Really, we're just going through it. We're lagging behind. Anyway, that's what's going on. A lot going on.
Alrighty.
Let's get on with the show, and glad to be here, and let's see what happens in the next couple of hours.
Yes, ma'am. And we've caught back up with you on the time change. So yes, we appreciate Lisa jumping in at midnight now, or 1 a.m? It's another hour later. So once
midnight.
We switch up, so she's starting here at midnight and ending up at 2 a.m. So we do appreciate her jumping in with us. And Mr. Maxer, who is also a resident of the East Coast, a little bit further down than me. But how's it going today, brother?
Going well. Thanks for having us, as always. Looking forward to the show. A lot of good things to cover. Thanks to everybody that listens. Thanks to the mods. Very interesting. Was it the Archbishop was saying?
Oh, yeah.
And I at first thought it might have been AI, and I was just like, I just too good with the accent and everything. I was like, I can't. I don't think it is. It's the real deal. So he's definitely calling out some people, which is crazy, but in a good way. It's a very good thing. The more people recognize this, I think the faster this will hopefully go a little bit. But it's on their clock.
Yeah, it's already having its reverberations in the UK with Mr. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, no longer Prince Andrew. So the
Yes.
king took away his prince title, by letters patent, and he has been banished to the king's place in Norfolk. And he's probably going to live in what used to be like a farm keeper's house or something like that. So he's been cut off from money, but I think the the king, is still going to give him something. He's now out of the Royal Lodge, which has got 30 rooms, and he had a 75-year lease where he paid peppercorn rent. He hasn't paid rent in 20 years. So he is gone. And I think it is in lieu of what is to come. The royal family absolutely know that there's more information to come out, and the more that it comes out, the more implicated Andrew is. And he's still denying it, but yet, lots of emails and things like that going back and forth between him and Epstein. He was obviously involved, and I think one of his lines was, "Oh, we'll just," I'm paraphrasing, "we'll just get over this, and then we'll play some more," But he's gone. He's a goner. So if he finally, a so-called prince of let's say that Prince of Britain, who was born a prince, can lose his, because now he's an ordinary citizen. It's like, come on, FBI, come get him. You've got the extradition treaty with the UK. You can extradite people from here to the US, but we can't do the same from the US to the UK, but you can. So how about it? Come and get Andrew. We will give him up willfully.
No more Prince Andrew. I'm loving it. And so actually, this is just this is a
Crazy
question.
first arrest, huh? If that ever happened.
Yeah, I mean that's huge. And Lisa, this is something that I don't even know if it's tabloid fodder or what is, which is why I didn't bring the article with me. It was a couple days ago. Was there ever anything over in the UK that you heard about legitimate, about a story about Camilla trying to take some of the jewels or stuff like that from Queen Elizabeth? Did you hear anything about that at all?
No,
might have been BS.
Meghan Markle, maybe, because she was trying to use certain of the Queen's jewels. She was taken down to a place where they store them in Buckingham Palace that no one's supposed to talk about. She talked about it, and she tried to get to wear a certain tiara that it wasn't warranted by the Queen to wear it. That's all I know. But no, I didn't hear about Camilla. Don't forget, Camilla's probably got access to, and remember, she's the Queen consort.
Yes.
Not the Queen of England. Sorry, she's the King's consort. Or you say the Queen consort, as in she just happens to be the partner of the King. She isn't like the real Queen. They seem to have dropped the word consort, but just because people aren't using it and calling her the Queen of England, it doesn't mean that she is.
Oh, are they married, right? They are, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So even though she's married, it's obviously because it's not the lineage. So basically, she's always going to be the consort, no matter if it was, even if she had been like a long-time wife or whatever, she'd still always be the Queen consort.
Doesn't matter. Right? Don't forget, Prince Philip was always called Prince Philip because he was the Queen's consort. He wasn't the King of England. So it's exactly the same. And he was always called Prince Philip. Remember, he walked a few steps behind the Queen. You know, he wasn't the king, even though he was married to the Queen.
Creepy.
That's how it goes. Just like in China, you know, where they have a consort, somebody that they are with. That is it. You can look it up. That's the truth. But everybody's calling her the Queen of England. And it's like, Queen consort. That's what she is.
Nice. Okay. You know what? While we got a little bit of talk about the UK coming up, where is it? I thought I had it. Here we go. I'll pop this one up here really quick. And I don't know if you've seen this, if this is real, but this is a 10-second clip, and this is, I don't know who this woman is, but let's listen and take Lisa's comment on this.
The white British population has decreased by 600,000, while the minority population has increased by 1.2 million. So, yes, lads, we're winning.
Yes, lads, we're winning. I don't even know who that is, what it is, but I mean, the whole idea of what she's saying.
Because it's a race. Right. You know, it's a competition. I didn't know that.
well, I mean, when you hear about these things, right, too, Mac, I know you've seen like the videos. I don't know if they were in like Ireland or wherever they were, but there were some Middle Eastern guys yelling back and forth and telling them like, we're taking over your country, essentially. Maybe not now this year, but you know, what do you have? 1 kid, 2 kids, maybe 3? You know, we have 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. We're going to basically essentially, you know, beat you in the numbers coming up. And that's their idea, right? Is to basically go to an area and then basically breed like crazy. And then you have the numbers later on.
And they're being trafficked by the cabal, you know, the people behind it. The governments have passed policies to allow legal human trafficking, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's what ended up happening during the fake Biden residence, and probably before that too. But that was the biggest obvious example. It was made publicly aware nationally. You know, it was a huge, and it still is a huge subject. But people are becoming more aware of what's actually going on. So the people are coming to these countries, but someone's paying for them to get there. It's not like they're just, you know, swimming.
Yeah, just like ours. They all show up with nice new sneakers and like, wait, you just came like 1,000 miles by foot and wow, you look clean.
So the immigrants themselves, you know, they're a mixed bag. I think President Trump makes a good point that, you know, there could be criminals in there, people from insane asylums and so forth, but they're also regular people. So it's like a big Trojan horse for all these countries. And this is all backed by the agenda of the New World Order, like United Nations, World Economic Forum, you know, entities like that and the people behind them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm just looking at a little chart here. And Lisa, you can obviously chime in whenever you want.
Lisa, what's your take on this? You live there.
66.6 million.
Go on, 66.6 million?
Yeah, well, so I'm just looking at a little graph here on Google. 66.6 million in 2020, and we go up to right now, it says 69.23 million. Well, that's the last one I got was 2024. So 3 million people, it seems like you guys have gained in the last 3 or 4 years. Guessing that's not a lot of...
No, that's a lot for us. Remember, our whole population is about 66 million, you know? Somewhere around there. So, no, we've gained a lot of people in the last few years. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of people coming here and illegally, I might add. This is not, you know, Britain is like America. It is an island of immigrants because everybody needed to import immigrants to and people who emigrated legally in order to support industry. You know, the Irish built the roads. You know, the English Empire. You know, how many countries did the English Empire take over? Well, a lot of the Caribbean, you know, Canada, Australia, you know, lots of places. Just never forget our history. So we've always been importing people, but legally. And Nigel Farage put it very bluntly when he said it was controlled immigration for many years. You're talking tens of thousands, completely controlled. And more people have probably come in the last few years than they have since the 1960s. So think about that, just in the last few years, because it was controlled. Now it's like with the illegal immigration, which they're not stopping. It's as if they're trying to replace the population. And again, like as Max said, it is a cabal, it's a deep state thing because, George Soros wrote a white paper in 2015 that said that's exactly what they want to do. And as you just said, Mac, there's a lot of criminals. It's like of the people in prison in the UK, I looked at some statistics, and it's like, the Albanians. Ours is the Albanians. But they're the top. I think they number about something like nearly 10,000 Albanians in prison, criminals. Yes, that have been charged, that are serving at this moment at the pleasure of His Majesty, as we call it. And, and then after, if you go to somewhere like Belmarsh Prison, which is where Julian Assange was held, so that's a category 4 prison, so that's very, very high level. And you'll find that a good majority of the population is actually Muslim. Yes?
Oh my goodness.
So it's not, they're just importing people or allowing people to come from anywhere and everywhere. And no, they cannot check whether they are criminals, and they are not checking. And yet they still get everything for free. And the British government are doing the worst job ever in supposedly stopping illegal migration. And poor Ireland, a lot of people have been shipped there. Lots of people in Ireland, it's like it's quite a small population, and villages are now taken over where probably the illegal migrants outnumber the Irish, like 4 or 5 to 1, literally. It is ridiculous.
That's bad.
Absolutely ridiculous, and it's costing us an absolute fortune. An absolute fortune, billions per year, and it's going up probably every single month.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was going to change this one. I didn't know which one I was going to open with, and then I want to make sure I get the one that Mac did, because I had a story on one, and I'm going to make sure I have this actual link because I have a YouTube video, and the audio seems to play a lot better over on... Audio seems to play a lot better over on Twitter than here. So they basically are going to be doing some stuff about it over here, allegedly. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can find this one here. If this is the one that you had put up. Not the one that you would put up, Mac, but I do have more coming right here. So Brooke Rollins is going to be looking into the snap, and then she's also requested information from the states to basically find out like what the hell is going on. Matt, can you tag me on that link? Because I know you had put one earlier at the actual video. Let me pull her. I thought I grabbed it, but this is very interesting. I'm gonna play this while Mac plays. While Mac finds that for me, because you guys are gonna be like, "What in the hell is going on here?" This is a two-parter, guys. In my opinion, something you're gonna thoroughly enjoy.
So now, if you're on food stamps and you don't have a regular job, they are now forcing you to do community service hours, at least 15 hours a week, or you lose your food stamps. I have been on food stamps for 13 years, okay? I get the maximum, $4,300 a month, okay? I have 6 kids, 4 baby daddies. None of my baby daddies actually help with their kids, so I have to get help from the government, from the taxpayers, okay? From you guys. Okay, I can't go out and get a regular job. I have 6 kids, like I just said, okay? And I'm doing this by myself. I can't go out and get a regular job. So now you expect me to go work for free? Because that's what community service is. You're working for free. If I won't go out and get a real job, work for cash, why would you think I would work for free? 15 hours. I don't have the time. So now I'm at risk of losing my food stamps because of this new rule. Can somebody explain this to me? Because it makes no sense.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
So the welfare fraud department of my county just left my house. Are you guys happy? Are you guys happy? I get a knock at my door. I open the door, and of course, there's 3 people in, nice work clothes, whatever. I thought it was CPS. Okay, big surprise there. No. It's the welfare fraud department. I didn't even know there was a welfare fraud department. Okay, so with everything that I have going on, with my food stamps and everything, they are going to be tracking every single paper trail.
Oh my God.
That I have had attached to my name for the last 10 years. They are going to be digging up everything. I am possibly facing criminal charges for this. This is not just something where they take your food stamps, for a couple weeks or no. This is actually criminal.
Well, sorry there, darling. Seems like you were taking advantage of the system. Now, guys, $4,300 times 13 years, she said. I did a little math there quick, and it turns to me that money happens to be about $670,000. 4,300 times 12 times 13, if I did that right. That's a lot of money. And she's been on food stamps for 13 years. She has 6 kids. At what point do your kids, I don't know, grow up and start going to school that allow you to, get out and get a job? But that's the problem right there. Is if you could just get a check for $4,300 a month and just sit on your ass and do nothing, why are you going to get off your ass and do anything? It is just disgusting that these people were going through all of these things. And I did find that link, but if anybody wants to make a comment on that before I play this one.
It's all a trap.
Yes.
Talk about some other stuff later. But yeah, I think Elon Musk had hinted at the fact that they can look this stuff up really easily. It's not hard. So they're all, I would say, under investigation because they're going to get looked at.
The thing is, it's like, in the UK, some years ago, they brought in a rule that they were only going to give like social welfare for 2 children of each family, because there is a lot of fraud with these types of programs. And remember, that's only one program, the food program, correct?
Yes.
But there are all kinds of different social programs that people get money from. In the UK, they've unified it all into one service called Universal Credit. So that deals with all of the funds that one might get if one is receiving what we call benefits. So they do one fund. And I think that is potentially to cut down fraud, because it's like, say, if somebody, there used to be a lot of people, and I mean millions of people, that at one stage years ago might have said that they had a back problem, so they couldn't work. So they were just on disability benefit and nobody ever checked it, So you've got people who teach capoeira still receiving benefits for disability. And disability, you apparently get a lot more than the usual program. and there were a lot of people just lounging on that. So now they do, like checks. They got to be kind of certified by a doctor. They get everybody to go to a place, and their illnesses are checked. And they check with their doctor, and they check their physical ability and things like that. So, and then with this food program, you've got, I think it was somewhere around May this year, where there was somebody there's an unsealed indictment. I think it's in New York or somewhere like that. And it's for a scheme that generated over 66 million in unauthorized transactions under the Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program, which is SNAP, which is what she's talking about. And basically, it's food stamps. And like you said, Mac, Elon Musk and Doge, they uncovered, I don't know how many people that were registered that shouldn't be registered. And also potentially, people that might have been registered at the same address and more than once, and all kinds of fraud. We played a video not that long ago where a guy talked about finding 5 million people receiving benefits that shouldn't be. If you remember, just a few weeks ago, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, we played a video on the show. So there's a lot of fraud in this. And then also the certain government departments, they've been doing their best to give out social security numbers so that people can, enjoy that type of benefit, like the SNAP program. So there's a massive amount of fraud. I can't remember the figures that the guy came up with, but just on what they looked at, I think it was over 5 million people. And, the illegal migrants, they do get benefit already, but there was a lot of illegal migrants that were registered as well. And then don't forget, if they're registered for something like the food program, then it's likely that they've got some kind of something that may not allow them to vote because they're not supposed to vote, but they can use it to vote. And it's then Gavin Newsom has been doing his best to try and obfuscate whether people can vote or not, giving out the driver's licenses, giving out certain licenses, saying that illegal migrants can become the police or a policeman and things like that. So there's a lot of fraud surrounding, even if it's just this food program, but certainly government benefits, certainly.
They are, and they are, unfortunately. There are some immigrants that are police officers in California right now. It's freaking bananas. And just some really funny comments. Dina Marie's kind of a question says, why aren't daddies being forced to pay? They must have no job too. Yeah, and that's what the girl said in the first video. She's like, I got 6 kids. I think she said 3 or 4 different baby daddies. It's like, that's, you got some other issues that you need to be worrying about, like, life choices in the very beginning. And then Bamlo says that's only one program we take bets on if she has free health care for all of those children also. I could bet your bottom dollar she does.
My guess is she went pretty hard earlier in her life. She had no front teeth and her bottom teeth were pretty scraggly and decayed.
Little scrapey scrapes. You need to see a little scrapey scrape there.
Isn't there also, fraud where, a mother might say that she lives on her own with her children, which means she would get more money when actually she's living with a partner? That happens in the UK. A lot of people been caught out with that because they get more benefits as a single parent than they do with, it's shared if there are 2 parents. So a lot of people lie about that, the fact that they're living with their husband or they've got a live-in partner. They're supposed to declare it because their benefits are worked out differently, because that's 2 people receiving benefits, or there is a wage coming into the household, which changes things. So that's another big one where there's a lot of fraud.
Yeah, I mean, you make a great point. And I think a major issue to all of this is just that, Lisa. They make it so much easier, and like you say, by the benefit amount that they get, So whereas, let's just say like the husband or the boyfriend was living there and they were going to get some assistance and it would be X amount of dollars. But that assistance that they get when the kid is not there or the other person is not there, it makes up for that and then some. It's too appetizing for them to essentially keep the two-partner role. And I believe that was made that way so we could basically break up the nuclear family, decades ago. So yeah, they definitely are going to be looking into this. But listen to this, what she said here. Brooke Rollins, the agriculture secretary, which I guess funds all this crap, perhaps.
Day one of USDA, February 13th, is we sent letters to every governor in America being very clear that no illegal aliens can use SNAP. 0, 0, 0. We asked every state for the first time in history, and this was in February, to send us their data and let us, with Doge and a war room, actually start going through this data to better understand how this explosion of SNAP benefits happened under Joe Biden.
So remember, guys, it wasn't just like they're shutting down a system that is swollen, which it had been for decades, right? But it's actually another explosion while Joe Biden was in there. And what else do we have an explosion of? Oh, people coming over the borders. And she's about to tell who responded to the queries and who didn't. I'll let you guys put your guesses, wink, wink, in the chat of who do you think responded and who did not.
Increased almost 40% on this program in just a couple of years under the Biden administration. Of course, we know they were trying to buy the election, but that's a conversation for another time. And since we have asked for that data, 29 states have complied. Of course, almost all the red states, a couple of couple blue states too. But in that data, and I haven't talked about this yet publicly, in that data we've studied about $100 billion in spend. We have found thousands and thousands of illegal use of the EBT card. We have been moving people off of SNAP. We've got almost 700,000 people, I think, we've moved off just since the president took office. We've arrested about 118 people. So this has been ongoing. But Rachel, to your point, what this conversation has allowed is a national spotlight on a broken and corrupt program. We found one guy in 6 different states getting a benefit. We found about 5,000 people that are dead who are still getting benefits. It is time to drastically reform this program so that we can make sure that those who are truly needy, truly vulnerable, are getting what they need, and the rest of the corruption goes away and we can serve the American taxpayer.
I mean, she makes a great point there too, because it's not just about like, oh, well, yeah, you're lazy, you need to get off your ass and work. I'm sure there's a lot of that, but we're talking about 5,000 or more people that were deceased that are receiving benefits. One guy who's receiving benefits in multiple different states. So that's the type of stuff that I believe, I'm not the biggest fan of AI because I think it has its definitely downs and some ups, of course, but I think that's something that it can help go through the numbers with and find, replicant information. John Jones in this state is receiving this, and this is his number, and in this state. So I'm just glad to see that they're actually tackling it, and it seems to me, taking it back a few steps, that what they're doing essentially is removing all of the funding that these people can use. And I'm not just talking about I believe that they're also taking some of this monies and using it for their political reasons as well. Anything that they can scrape off the bottom, people's retirements, whatever, donations, etc., anything that they can use. I don't think that's a huge part of it, but you never know. But anybody got any comments on that? Mac, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think it's so large that it wasn't like individuals and then just a small community spreading the word about this. I think this is a network. You know what I mean? A huge, I ran into a news clip about NGOs teaching illegals how to vote. So this is building the network, I think, for this RICO of sorts case, grand conspiracy, multitudes of different cases, but essentially setting the plate, seeing that there's a huge network of entities that are controlling these people to go take advantage of the system, and then whatever they do with that money, there has to be some sort of exchange. Maybe it's a political thing, you have to go and vote illegally and that's part of the arrangement. Then you have to send some of the money to these entities and so forth and so on. So I'm getting a sense of that. I don't know about you all.
It's just gaming the system. They've always been doing it. They've always been doing it. Just nobody ever checked. Remember, Doge is the first time where they have actually audited all of these departments and what they're doing. There is a video of somebody working for the government, and I think it was just before the election, and they were saying, we'd better hurry up and give out as many social security numbers as we can so that we can get them all set up before President Trump gets in.
So don't you remember a bunch of people getting sent, they voted or sent Social Security money to the same locations, like hundreds of people, if not thousands?
Yeah.
So that's exposing a network, and that's leading to something. It's not just it shows how they're exploiting the homeless, exploiting how they're exploiting our election system, and exploiting also the government, and then they can use that as a weapon against the American people, which they did.
Well, it's also a way of states probably getting more money. When you think about it, there's perhaps other programs as well that go with that. If somebody's supposed to be on a food program, then there's other benefits that the federal government would contribute to and possibly dished out by the state itself. That the 66 million in unauthorized transactions under the SNAP program. The defendants, check this out. So Michael Kehoe, Mohammed Nawafle, Omar Al-Rawashde, Gamal Obeid, Imad Al-Rawashde, and Arlassa Davis. And they were charged with conspiracy to steal government funds and to misappropriate U.S. Department of Agriculture, so the USDA, who that lady, Brooke, represents, benefits, among other charges. Davis was a USDA employee and is additionally charged with bribery and honest services fraud, and the case is assigned to a U.S. district judge. But they've had people within the government who've been selling confidential government information to the criminals they were supposed to catch. Their actions undermined a program that vulnerable New Yorkers depend on for basic nutrition. These charges should be a reminder that those who exploit anti-poverty programs for personal gain will be held accountable for their crimes. So they're collaborating with the FBI on this. Remember, it's big news, as Mike just said. It's big news. The FBI are involved in it. Everybody's involved in it. It's a massive amount of money that is leaking from the government that should go to American citizens who deserve and need it, and it's not.
100%. Now, let me get this 9-second clip off of done so I can get her off the screen. Oh, God, I can't stand this woman. But listen to the stupidity that she's saying.
First and foremost, this is the most corrupt administration in history. Yep. And then they're cruel enough to create work requirements for hungry people to get SNAP. But
cruel enough to make people work, essentially, to get food. So just a quick grok question and answer. No, there's no nationwide mandatory hours of community service required to get SNAP benefits. SNAP does. Now, remember, that other woman there that had 6 kids, 6 dependents, right? Like able-bodied adults without dependents, ABAWDs, able-bodied adults without dependents, 18 to 54, who need to put in at least 80 hours a month of work, training, or volunteering to keep benefits beyond 3 months in a 3-year period. So only people without dependents, able-bodied, 18 to 54. They're basically, that's a job, right? I mean, you get money and you get food, you get to feed yourself, and you go do something. That's kind of like a job.
Well, basically, if it's anything like the UK, then what those able-bodied people are asked to do is spend time looking for a job, training, so that they can find a job or increase their chances of getting a job, or, like volunteer. That's it. Yeah, they can volunteer for charity and still get their benefits, and they don't have to work full time. Those hours that you said, 80 hours every 3 months or something, was it? Or was it a year? I can't remember. But anyway, that's what is being asked of people. And, if things are going to change, if they're going to improve their quality of life, you remember these systems were set up so that people would sit on benefits for the rest of their life and depend on the state and not get a job. That's why they were created. Everybody thinks it's to help people out, and it's like, no, they're creating people that are dependent on the state. But some of these programs, people need them. There's times where people need them, and they are there for when people need them. But if you can work and get a job, then that's what one ought to do to contribute to society. Maybe.
Dumont. Okay, well, here is a very interesting, and I said I would get her off the screen. I'm blocking it for the other folks, so sorry, Mac and Lisa. They were forced to look at Ayanna Pressley a little bit longer here. Now, this for me, I was just absolutely smacked with, like, how did it take so long for us to see this or figure this out, which... I played this for Mac and Lisa, and I didn't know if they have seen it or not, but I had not, and I'm just like, how is this possible? It took this long.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Regarding the benefits and social money and things like that. Remember that maybe a couple of years ago, somebody did some figures on how long the benefits would last before they ran out, before the pot ran out. Remember that the people contribute through taxes, and a certain amount of your taxes go towards benefit programs, so like retirement, pensions, and things like that. And I believe that they said that it would run out in maybe less than 10 years. So there's a necessity, because all of those people that are defrauding the system are affecting other people's benefits that they should get when they retire, yes, from the government and other programs. Just think about that. But I think that, also that all of the benefit money is supposed to be put aside, and if it had been invested or something like that, it should have grown. But I think potentially the government has used some of that money, and that's another reason why there perhaps isn't enough to go to, like, I don't know, 2050. So something has got to be done. Something has got to be done about all of these people defrauding the system.
So many, yeah, it's so many too. Mac, anything else on the Snap stuff before we move on?
Not right now. Nope.
Okie dokie. All right, I'm going to play this just as it is, and then we'll just take it from there. And just so everybody knows, I did actually grok this and found out that the person that they're saying here is absolutely the person that they're saying here. So just so we're aware. And really quick before we get into it, did you ever see this, Mac or Lisa? Because this is fresh for me.
I haven't seen this particular video.
Yeah, very weird.
I only watched it because you posted it.
Okay, good. And I think this was my brother, Patriot Politics Research, who sent this over. But thank you to everybody who sends me over some stuff. And Lisa, I won't dox her. I'll ask her. I think I said it the other day. But Lisa G had sent me over some stuff I'm going to be covering later this week. Very interesting stuff. Max, sorry.
If this is the guy that asked the question, he was rehearsing it prior. I did see that part, but I didn't know about the extra stuff.
Oh, yeah. This is juicy. All right, here we go, guys. Bing, bing, bing. Some funnies in here, too.
So can anybody explain to me why this young man that was standing in front of Charlie Kirk is practicing being outraged at seeing Charlie Kirk get shot or assassinated or whatever before he even arrives at the event?
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence?
This young man's name is Hunter Kozak, and for some reason, he was seen practicing being horrified by something. And then next thing you know, something horrifying happened 15 minutes later. So I want to ask you, do you think this was a coincidence? And if not, why would somebody be in the crowd practicing being horrified, and then out of nowhere, something horrifying happened, like he knew it was about to happen? So how do you think he did? Did he do a good job?
Steve Kozak, the father of Hunter Kozak, has been working for Jimmy Kimmel for years. What are the chances that Hunter Kozak asks Charlie Kirk a very ironic question right before Charlie Kirk's life is taken in front of a live audience full of thousands of people? Jimmy Kimmel then gets brought into this by the media, simultaneously dogpiling on him and making him the scapegoat because of his monologue. And then it turns out that one of the higher-ups at Jimmy Kimmel's show is the father of the last person to speak to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's weird. You can't make this up, especially when you consider all of the other shady things that are going on with this case. It really makes you wonder.
All right. I think that's basically the gist of the whole video. So now Hunter Kozak was the person in the beginning that was asking the question. And of course, you know, I never take, you know, regular people's words for it. So I'll take an AI's word for it. But no, I checked it on a couple of different ones. Yes, Hunter Kozak was the person who asked Charlie Kirk the last question before he was shot. Okay. And then looking up on another one here, Stephen Kozak, the father, is the director of research and clearances for the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. He's been in that role for the past several years, handling stuff like fact-checking, clip sourcing, and legal clearances for segments. Even if this guy wasn't, you know, because I don't know, this all could have been taken. I'm just saying they could have mashed this up, and it could have been taken. You know, I didn't see. And let's listen to this at the very end here. I kind of just brushed through this. See what he says. I didn't know he was questioned here.
Yours was the last question that Charlie Kirk ever heard.
Yeah, there's a strange amount of weight to that. I don't really know how to grapple with that. I mean, he's answered tens of thousands of questions, and that was the first question I've ever asked him. We never talked before that.
All right. Mac, first, really quick, before you add or anything else to it, what are the odds that that guy would have been there that day and happened to be asking him the question about that? I mean, just the odds of that alone. Just that part.
Very unlikely. So, yeah, the web keeps getting deeper. And then when you see them interview on 60 Minutes, I feel like whatever side 60 Minutes is on, which we pretty much know what it is how they then change or coax the agenda to what it needs to be formed for them to like not find out what happened. You know, it's the cover up. They're molding it to look away. So they put this guy up, I don't really know anything kind of deal. And there's more to it than as we're seeing right now. And whenever I see them go in those interviews, I always think about that, especially like the Las Vegas shooter, the security guard, the Las Vegas shooting, the security guard that went on like the talk shows. Yeah.
Whatever his name was. Yeah, the dude. Yep. No. And just really quickly, so before I get your take on it, I was like, wait, he looks a little old to be a college student. But guess what? He's 29 years old, but he is based in Utah. Hunter Kozak lives in Utah. That's where he's based as a student at Utah Valley University in Orem. Your father is like a big wig on one of these, you know, shows, probably making really good money, and you're at Utah Valley University? I'm not saying anything bad again. I don't know the reputation of the college or anything, but Utah Valley, really? I'd be interested to see how long he's been.
Are they Mormon?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just, you know, and just like anything too, you're like, oh, Mormon must be really good people. Well, they got their fair share of very evil people as well. So it's not for any population.
I think they're Jabberwocky, you know, according to the look of his dad.
Jabberwocky. That's a dance group over here in the United States, the Jabberwockies. Go ahead, Lisa. I'm just going to look up some more
I was
stuff.
just going to say that there is a bigger, I think, story behind these late night talk shows, and the implications are very interesting. So I don't know if anybody remembers, but probably somewhere in 2024 or the beginning of 2025, then all of the late night talk shows were off air on the same day. Not long after Doge started. And Doge were looking into USAID. And USAID was giving money to all of these kind of political organizations that were putting out propaganda. Has anybody noticed that nearly all of the late night talk shows will give Bill Mayer a little pass now because he seems to have changed his tune a little, but all except for him were all anti-Trump. So it seems to me that they were all being paid to be anti-Trump because they were severely anti-Trump, but their money was coming from USAID because when USAID was exposed and money was cut, and Marco Rubio put in charge. Remember, was it Jimmy Kimmel's show or somebody else's show? Who was axed? And they said they're overspending $40 million a year. Well, if you're overspending $40 million a year on there you go. That's the one. Now, if you're overspending $40 million a year and you're in charge of the budget, you would know that you're overspending $40 million a year. So what put you in a position where you could, over the years, overspend for approximately $40 million a year? You were getting money from USAID, and when that money was cut, you didn't have that to spend any more. Remember, even Howard Stern's show is going. What did Howard Stern do? He was pro-Trump, 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 and then all of a sudden, bang, he wasn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's something going on, obviously, and they were getting money from some organization that was getting money from USAID, and it was used for propaganda.
I have an example here. Remember when Stephen Colbert was granted a super PAC back when he worked for The Daily Show on Comedy Central? He had a big thing.
Oh,
yes.
There you go.
It was highly documented. He made a big fiasco about it. He celebrated and everything.
Yeah. So how is it that they all kind of turned at the same time or almost the same time or became, like having extreme Trump derangement syndrome at the same time? All of these different talk show hosts, all of them.
And it's interesting that as you guys see here on the screen here, I think I have the site muted out here, but as you see, Jimmy Kimmel makes emotional return to late night show. He was one of the people that was kicked off and then let back on for some reason. So I just thought that point to be a little bit interesting.
So you wonder, with all these celebrities, they have these charities, and when you make a lot of money, usually people do charities for a tax write-off and so forth. But I think a lot of people have taken this a step further, obviously, and they've gotten USAID money and other probably avenues as well off of that. Yeah. And remember, charities only have to report or use 10% of what they actually pull in.
That's why I do it. Whenever they ask you on checkouts now, I'm like, nope, I'd rather just hand a homeless person a sandwich. Because we know right now, like I had no idea years ago that it was that bad. It's like, oh, if you're giving 10% back, you're doing a good job. It's like, excuse me? Yeah, no, I don't buy that in any way, shape, or form. But as a result, we are getting I don't even know where it went here. So as a result, we are getting, and the screen is blocked right here. We're getting a lot of pushback on a certain country, and the normal folks are basically coming out in form, and we have this stuff. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Mark Levin was, and this is going back to last year, he was calling out a bunch of people and saying, who knew at a time like this they're coming out of the closets some of those you would never expect. And he waited, almost a year, but this was today or yesterday. General Flynn comes out and says, "No, Mark, I believe this is a legitimate question. Do our elected representatives get financial assistance from an Israeli lobby? Do they get assistance from Big Pharma? Do they get assistance from Qatar? Do they get assistance from X, Y, or Z company or group, etc.? We need to know who our elected representatives are influenced by when we're making decisions about whether or not we should vote for them. I believe these are very legitimate questions to ask. Do not make this all about Israel. I'm not. Make this about what is best for America." We understand at this point, guys, that basically we have people that they admitted that they're paying that are out there, and I can't think of anybody that's much bigger. Like, Ben Shapiro, maybe Mark Levin is just like you can't say anything bad about Israel. And it's like, no, we should be able to. We should be able to call out places that we're giving money to and places that we constantly, and that's another thing too, that the big thing about Israel too, besides all the other nonsense, is that are they a poor country? Like, you see the commercials, like the ones where you see like Sarah McLachlan singing "In the Arms of the Angels" with the dogs and stuff, but you see the other one with the older, these women were there during the Holocaust and people are coming by to give them a few loaves of bread and stuff, and it's like, give to Israel. And it's like, I don't think they're a poor country, are they? Like, why are we giving them $1 billion a year? But it's like, no, anybody who asks any questions about that is automatically shunned by essentially, like the Mark Levin people or the Ben Shapiro deal. And I don't like that in any way, shape, or form. And Mac Lisa, who was for last? Who was for
Israel.
last? Yeah, and dude, this one right here, I don't know what this dude did. Oh, it must be a different. Yeah, if I go into this post right here, which this is a very interesting story, but if I go into this story here and click onto this one, he embedded another story, which embedded another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. But this is crazy. Let me just read this really quick, and then I'll get your guys' comments, because I thought this was interesting, having to do with Israel. Apparently, there's supposedly 200 fighters of Hamas trapped in a Rafah tunnel, and the Israeli media is reporting a chilling offer from the IDF to those 200 trapped. They can walk free if they crawl out unarmed. And then what they're reporting here is not mercy, it's messaging. For Israel, the safe surrender is a PR masterstroke. Look humane, break Hamas's morale, flush out one of the group's last armed pockets without another bloody tunnel siege. For the fighters, it's a choice between suffocation underground or humiliation above. Rafah is at the southern tip of Gaza, has become the bunker and bargaining chip, a maze where the war's final act may play out beneath the sand, not on it. Israel knows that starving militants out is cheaper than storming tunnels. Hamas knows surrender looks like betrayal. Both are gambling on optics as much as outcomes. The deal goes through, it'll be sold as a step towards peace. Don't buy it. This isn't reconciliation, it's containment. And this guy's prediction is the tunnel might be empty, or it might empty, but the idea behind it, resistance, revenge, survival, will just dig somewhere new. And we've had, bombs and missiles going off left and right during this, quote, ceasefire here deal. But I don't believe that any country, I don't care what country it is or what the Bible says about any country, should have free reign to just come into our country and influence our politicians and not have the most basic of checks done on them, right? Like a lobbyist, like, oh no, we can't make AIPAC a lobbyist firm. Like, we'll have to kill a president for that. Or if you put your money back on, gold, we'll have to kill a president for that. So I know that was kind of a wide thing, but I just don't like the pushback about you can't ever mention that country. It's, you know what they did to them back in World War II, hands off. You can't mention a word about them. And I never liked that from the beginning. So with that in mind, Miss Lisa, any comments on that cluster F I just laid out?
Yeah, pot, kettle black, yeah. People being called out, I do think that everybody should be treated similarly. Israel never registered, the Israel lobby, IPAC never registered, as they've managed to get out of it as a foreign entity or even a foreign lobbying firm, when it obviously is, and they do have a lot of influence. I don't think that would be allowed with anybody else, but apparently it is with Israel. But, the people calling out the people have also worked for Israel and never said anything about it, never registered as a foreign agent or something like that. So, it swings and roundabouts at the moment, swings and roundabouts.
Can't mention them.
Can't put on the screen. Some people work for the NSO and never said anything, or denied it, and they did. So, that's why I said pot, kettle black.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for equal treatment, but when the scales kind of tip when it comes to like stuff like politics and who we put in government, it needs to be an equal playing field. So AIPAC should definitely, be a registered lobby. I don't see why it wouldn't be, unless there's obviously an exception for this. And as we do research as Anons, we find out that a lot of our politicians have dual citizenship to Israel, which is, why would that be? Is that for tax purposes or something else? There are a lot of questions, and like you said, every time people ask the question, I think it needs to be asked correctly, and there needs to be some answers to it. I think this whole thing with Levin, he's obviously pro-Israel, very, and like when you listen to President Trump with that lady Miriam, he said, I think Miriam likes Israel more than she likes the United States in so many words. So there are those people. And there's a lot of finger pointing, but they're, like Lisa said, calling the kettle black. Everyone's doing it apparently because they can, based on what is allowed. So they need to fix it. Full stop, as Lisa says.
Isn't that interesting? It's
cheating. It's like cheating. I don't. There's no other word for it. It's cheating. You are cheating. You're rigging the system. So
isn't it interesting?
I'm waiting patiently.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it interesting that there's one country that basically, and this is always the problem I've had with, in the Bible talk was like, oh, they had their eyes closed and therefore they can, basically spit on Jesus and talk bad about Jesus and stuff like that. But they've had their eyes closed, and there's one country that you never can talk about, and there's one country that doesn't have to register itself as a lobbyist, right? And so it's always that one country that we're never allowed to. It's like special.
There's a bit of manipulation going on there, because the Israel that we know today that was named and given by the Brits,
correct,
to the Rothschilds, didn't exist in the Bible times. So the Israel in the Bible is very different, but that's part of the kind of MK Ultra, the fictional narrative. That's why Israel took the name Israel, and that was something different. They were God's people, but Israel of old is not the Israel that was created in 1948 or 47 through the Balfour Treaty. Yes.
You're spot on, and that's the difference too. And I mean, just make it all fair and transparent. That's all we're asking for. I got an interesting one for you. Oh, go ahead.
And Ben Gurion, I can send you a video of him talking about that and talking about what the methodology was that they used in taking over Israel and the narrative that they sold to the people. So they decided to use, the Zionists decided to use the Christian faith against the Christians. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This one, guys, I kind of put in the funnies category, I guess, because it's not really anything else. It's a little bit of Hunter stuff.
It's Joker. Yeah, the old Joker. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, this guy Carville. But this is funny. I think you'll actually like this one. Here we go, James Carville, the Raging Cajun.
In terms of Hunter Biden, look, he did some really stupid goddamn things. Said $50,000 a month from the Ukrainian energy company. I mean, if he cared so much about his father, it looks like he wouldn't have done so much shit to embarrass him.
Absolutely.
Getting him on the phone and whatever. And I don't criticize President Biden for pardoning his own son. I think he was target of malicious prosecution, but I think he was guilty of some shit. Okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't like Chelsea Clinton or
Right.
Obama
Right.
children or anything like that. He was not.
Right.
He traded on his family name, but it would look like after you've gone through all of that, you would do the simple thing, just shut the fuck up. Okay? In terms of Hunter,
how'd you like that one at the end? Earmuffs for anybody who doesn't like swears.
do the simple thing, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but he's still, you know, oh, he wasn't like
Right.
Chelsea Clinton and that. Yes, he was.
Well,
Do you know how much bribery went on? And like, say, even changing the political system so that the Bidens would not be investigated. They literally, and then also taking over the energy companies. And prices of energy going up for the Ukrainian people, like, I don't know, 40, 50%, just so that they could make some money. Remember Burisma and all of that? Remember Joe Biden's bribery, like $1 billion or however much it was? He admitted to it, you know, and also them influencing the legal system so much so that it's basically completely changed. You know, the people that were doing the investigation, they were kind of completely rubbished when they had information. You know, they had evidence of the Biden crime family and what they were doing in the Ukraine. They're not the only crime family because lots of people's sons were involved, whether it was Heinz, whether it was, who else, Mac? There's a number of sons involved in the corruption in the Ukraine, you know?
Oh, God.
So,
yeah.
It's a bit of a joke because I think they send these people out to kind of try and smooth out the peaks, you know, and make it a bit more even with the troughs. And it's like, no, they were all feeding from the troughs. I think was it Pelosi's son, Heinz's son? You know, all of the sons were working together. What do you mean the parents didn't know when they were all in big jobs in government whilst all this was going on and they were covering things up, you know, like cleaning up after their children, like you do.
Yeah, Pelosi's son. Yeah, there's John Kerry's involved.
His daughter married an Iranian.
Daughter, yeah. And there's just all one big happy cabal family.
All the kids. You know, they were making their kids rich.
And then look at Huma marrying Soros. So Huma Abedin, you know, was it Muslim Brotherhood? You
Who's
know,
that works for?
And then what does Soros represent? And you have like the merging of the two criminal enterprises. You know, it just really, it's like symbolic. They have to do it.
Oh my goodness. He wasn't like, you know, Hillary, Chelsea Clinton and stuff. Did Chelsea Clinton's wedding get paid by the Clinton Foundation? I believe it did, right?
Was it about 10 million, something like that in total? She married George Soros's nephew, you know? And didn't she get positions on all of these companies like Expedia, this and that? All of a sudden she's an expert and getting paid an absolute fortune. You know, typical grooming for future political positions.
Ooh.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, no. Oh, dude, you know what's so funny too? Because I'm looking it up on the AI thing over here, and it's saying no, Clinton Foundation didn't pay. It's been widely fact-checked and debunked by numerous sources. The Clinton Foundation itself, the Washington Post, PolitiFact, Forbes, and Newsweek. And I'm like, wait, what happened to Snopes? What happened to the guy and his wife in their basement that were doing checkup? I haven't even heard anybody mention the word Snopes in about a year.
He was getting funded probably by one of these programs.
Exactly.
Yeah, USAID.
Yeah.
You know? What about all of that money?
They all go bye-bye. It's great.
The latest Snopes. Yeah, they're still putting stuff in there, apparently.
Off into the swamp they go.
Investigating rumor Trump spent $3.4 million in taxpayer money on the Great Gatsby Halloween party. Oh, please, get over yourselves, idiots.
Wait a minute. Don't the White House spend every year money on a Halloween party and allow the kids to visit the White House? Does anybody remember the was it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something like that with Johnny Depp and all of those kids and the Obamas and hot dogs, and other things, hot dogs and pizza?
Oh,
Anybody remember
yes.
that one? It was a huge event.
Alice in Wonderland.
Was that
party.
one? Oh, right. Yeah, not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but he did do that, you know?
White House Alice in Wonderland party under fire. I wonder why. Did they spend a lot of money? They were saying, oh, there was no secret to it or whatever. But no, we know that they did have their little party and everybody was dressed up, and I'm sure there was plenty of pizza that was brought in there. All right, on to the next one here. Here we go. I think you guys are going to like this
It's like
one.
there's not much room for anything else.
Not much room. Hey, there will be now, after he just completely decimated the whole West Wing. East Wing, excuse me. All right, we got some voting midterms coming out, and we got a little message from what is she, the Attorney General of New Jersey or something like that? Let's see, here we go. Yeah, U.S. Attorney's Office. Here we go.
The U.S. Attorney's Office will coordinate with our partners at the FBI to respond to complaints related to the upcoming general election. This office will investigate and prosecute any criminal activity related to the election process, including intimidating or bribing voters, buying and selling voters, impersonating voters, altering voting ballots and tallies, stuffing ballot boxes, and marking ballots for voters against their wishes or without their input. And it will do so regardless of who commits those crimes and regardless of party or affiliation. The U.S. Attorney's Office.
So what they're saying is, when we had that problem down in Philly where they wouldn't let the observers go into the court, and then they went out there and they got a court order and they brought it back and gave it to them and they wiped their butts with it and still wouldn't let them back in. Well, at least here in New Jersey, they're going to be investigating and following up on these things, and I feel like it's probably going to be in more states than not. I feel like President Trump probably has left us some breadcrumbs as far as possible National Guard watching it, right?
So President Trump and his truths past like 24 hours, like these on November 4th, which is tomorrow, it's the municipal elections. So he's mentioned New Jersey, he's mentioned Pennsylvania. I have it written down.
He's hit a lot of them. It's to the point where it's like, oh man, I hate when he gets into I hate around election time because every one of his posts is about this, right? Like Virginia, New Jersey, and he does all the different areas. But go ahead, sorry.
So he's mentioned New York, Virginia, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania specifically a couple times, and really emphasized, getting your constitutional rights back and so forth. And I feel like that they're obviously going to be watching this for any election fraud, and they're letting the people know. So this is going to be, and Trump is telling the American people, and a long list of truths of who to vote for in each, state and region. It's precinct, I think they're called. Sorry, and it's really interesting. So, I think it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Well, isn't all of this just an extension of what Lara Trump was brought in to do with the election, which is look at fraud, corruption within the election? And, didn't they start a whole program in the last presidential election?
Yes.
And this is just a continuation of that. So they looked at making sure that they cleaned the voter rolls. Remember, they had lots of dead people that were registered in different states and things like that, or two states. Who is it? Abrams. That one. Where was she? Was it Georgia? Where she encouraged the women to. I think there was a rerun or something like that. I don't know what you call it, but she encouraged women to, and this was black women, to register under their maiden name. So they would have been registered on their married name, but registered on their maiden name so that they could actually vote twice and various different things, in order to try and win. She didn't win in the end, but there was a lot of things that she put in, and also, what do you call it, where they're gathering voter harvesting, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was doing
ballot harvest.
Ballot harvesting, yeah. There you go. So all of those things, cleaning up the voter rolls, people voting illegally, all of it is being tackled. And they got a whole program. And actually, Laura Trump and somebody else were working together, and they did a pretty good job of instigating and initiating this type of thing, because they were taking people to court. And like you said about not allowing observers and things like that, they were making sure that those people, were able to do what they were supposed to legally be able to do, which is observe the election. Can you remember in 2020 them boarding up windows and things like that?
Oh,
to
yeah.
stop people from looking at what was going on. The suitcase
Detroit,
from under the bag from under the desk, and the pen drive being swapped and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh my lord!
Laura Trump and that gentleman, they put in like preventative measures that probably got everyone up to speed too. But there was a lot of corruption in that whole election that essentially they were not going to allow happen again. Now, President Trump has said we did catch them cheating in the 2024 election. You don't remember, and there hasn't been really anything going on as far as law enforcement that is too bad so far. Now, this is going to continue, and so I think each state will be, as they go through these voting processes. We've had plenty of warm up with the fake Biden administration and all those cheating as well. What probably was still going on, and now we're going to see the cleanup.
Oh my goodness!
It's also part of how elections should be run. They should be run. There are laws around elections. I don't know whether you remember, there was a particular state or county, and the whole election board were, I'm sure they were charged, because they were encouraging people to basically breach their own state law regarding elections. That's how bad it is. It's like really endemic, and people have been doing it for years. So no more. Huh.
No mas. And actually, you know what? I was gonna switch to this one, but I'm gonna wait because I had a method. I'm going down the thing here, and so my next one here is New Jersey vote. Here we go. I think this is a new one. All right, so and this is the guy that President Trump is saying to vote for in New Jersey, Jack Ciattarelli. Over the past month, New Jersey Republicans' new voters outnumbered Democrats over 2-1, 3,100 to Democrats 1,515. Over 17,000 independents were added because why not, right? Hopefully they are red independents. We need a huge red surge tomorrow on Election Day for Jack Ciattarelli to pull off the flip. Make it happen, New Jersey. You don't want, that same style of running that state as you had there with people essentially murdering people that were being sent back into nursing homes with what was that, Murphy back then. And the last one I got on here, guys, is a short little video. I think you guys will find this interesting. Was it a video? Right? Oh wait, no, I thought. Oh wait, no, I had a video. I thought I did. But anyway, new governor poll. I had a video with an African American talking about voting there. But new governor poll, New Jersey, black voters, Ciattarelli 60%, Cheryl 40%. Let me see. Did I mislabel that or label it onto a different one here? Alina Haba, new vote. No, I guess I missed it. I must have put it away somewhere else. But it is getting very interesting, and we need to flip that area. We definitely need to flip that to Republican, guys. Absolutely. So, Mac or Lisa, any comment on that one? Looks like Lisa.
Yeah, he's got an army captain's son, who apparently, like on November the 3rd, came home after 8 months overseas to join his dad.
Yeah, the footage is really, really good.
Yeah.
But I don't always trust these polls. I got to see the standard deviation, the size of the pool of the people, and so forth, and what affiliation they were, Republican or Democrat. So it's tough to really trust these political polls.
Oh, definitely. Let me see. And does anybody know his last name? CIA Torelli. Just thought that was an interesting point. Let me see. The surprise of a lifetime. I didn't know this, but apparently here's what you're talking about, Mac. Let's take a look. 25 seconds.
For what I'm going to say right now. Because this is an honor for what I'm going to say right now, that you don't know what I'm going to say right now. But your biggest supporter that serves this country just came over overnight to serve you. Who's here? Jake, your father, your son.
Awesome. That's great.
Because this is an honor for them.
Love that stuff. And yeah, you want to take the other guy who wants to, or the other side, essentially, that wants to, murder the elderly folks and keep that type of policy in line, or vote for a different side. Do you like the way your lives are being run, or your everyday to day life in New Jersey? Or would you like to see a change? So that's what's up for, not debate, but up for a vote. Anything else on that one, Mac or Lisa?
I just, right before the show started, President Trump truthed about Cuomo and explained that New Yorkers need to vote for Cuomo instead of the other two. Obviously,
is it this
Mandami.
One? Was this the one that you had? Okay, you put it aside. Okay. Want me to read it quick?
Whatever you'd like to do, go for it.
All right. If communist candidate Zohran Mandami wins the election for the mayor of New York City, it is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home, because of the fact that, as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. It can only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send, as president, good money after bad. It is my obligation to run the nation. It is my strong conviction that New York City will be a complete and total economic and social disaster should Mandami win. His principles have been tested for over 1,000 years, and never once have they been successful. I would much rather see a Democrat who has a record of success win than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. He was nothing as an assemblyman, ranked at the bottom of his class, or the class. As mayor of potentially, again, the greatest city in the world, he has no chance to bring it back to its former glory. We must also remember this: a vote for Curtis Sliwa, who looks much better without the beret, is a vote for Mandami. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mandami is not. Dude, did you guys ever think you would hear a day where you would hear Trump say, yeah, don't vote for this guy who, Sliwa is a Republican or whatever, but I mean, clearly the option is it's a split of the vote, right? So, you're going to get Cuomo or Mandami is basically your two choices.
He's just got no chance of winning, Curtis Sliwa. He just hasn't got enough support. So he's running anyway. And then Mandami, there's a lot of, I've been speaking to some New Yorkers more recently, and not everybody's supporting Mandami as the media want to portray, the propaganda. Not everybody is supporting Mandami, and more recently, him and his mum have been caught out lying. So the stories that he's told, to endear the people to him, and they're not true, and they've been found not true. And he's got some interesting policies if you want to waste money, you know? So he wants to support the illegal migrants, you know? He wants to support, what's her name? Letitia James. He says she's done nothing wrong. It's like all the evidence is there of fraud, you know, mortgage fraud. But there's a lot of policies that he's got, and you know, he's not very well. He's not going to be very. He has said himself he's not going to be very accommodating of the Jewish population of New York.
Really?
You know? Really, he said it. He said
Oh my God!
He's already said it. You honestly, you go and listen to some of the things that he said, and it's like, whoa! It's no wonder President Trump is putting his store behind Cuomo, because anything is better than Mandami. Like anything's better than a pure, out and out communist who is fake. He's fake.
100%.
Yeah, you read my mind on this. Play that. I was going to bring this up.
Perfect. All right, here we go.
And his association as well. I don't know if they talk about this here.
So let's circle back on that for people who don't know the naturalization process. This was a few years ago. You're saying there's a specific federal form, and we know, and you know, Tish James and others are learning, and there's the form, right? Okay, great.
That's right.
You lie in a federal form, you or I, we're probably going to go to prison. Now, we'll see whether Mamdani, but you're saying it's a crime to lie on this form, and on the form, they basically ask you, do you have ties to various folks who might be extremists, might be working against the American Constitution? What's the bottom line there? You believe he lied because he did have ties to terrorists, extremists, and didn't tell the government the truth.
The evidence that we've uncovered shows that he was an active member of the Democratic Socialists of America, an anti-America organization, back in 2018 when he filled out these forms that would have made him ineligible to become a naturalized citizen. And so I would encourage, I sent a letter this week, a follow-up letter to the DOJ to look at his forms to see if there's enough evidence there to revoke his citizenship and send him back to Uganda. If he hates America that much, he should go back to his home country, quite frankly. And look, we have an opportunity, although it's a Hail Mary, to save this election from a Marxist who is literally going to destroy the Big Apple. So, you know, that city that Frank Sinatra sang about. But we've got to be aggressive, and we've got to act now.
And wasn't there something else he lied about, like his grandmother being in some camp or something like that? But one of his relatives, they said, was someplace crying or whatever, but it was a complete fabrication. So, but I'm just amazed about the Jewish comment, Lisa. I mean, just how many Jewish people live in New York. I mean, geez, talk about shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, but if you're busting in loads of illegal migrants that you're gonna allow to vote, you know, I don't mean this literally, but what's a few Jewish people? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's the way that he looks at it, you know. That's the way that he looks at it. But he's definitely, you know, seems to be anti-Semitic, as they say. Really.
The actual kind.
And kind of proud of it as well. He is proud of it. Not me, he.
Oh my God! Yeah, Mac, anything you want to put on this? Because I was gonna put another one of him talking out here because it's funny, but.
I mean, go listen to any of his rap videos. It's just ridiculous. This guy is a complete fake. You can just tell. And Saturday Night Live did a very good job. Put a little short at the bottom of encapsulating him. And the other guys are pretty funny too. But man, Dami, it's just so funny.
How do I get this thing out of here? What are you? All right, I'm blocking the screen. How the hell do I get this? All these stupid things out of here. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll pull this one up, but I don't know why these are like over here for whatever reason. Pull this up. I got the screen muted here, but hold on. Here we go. Refresh the screen. Unblock it for the folks, and then here we go, man.
First up, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Hello, voters. You all know me. I got us through COVID and then yada, 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 Hong Kong squeeze, squeeze. Anyway, I'm back. I am born, bred New Yorker. I love it here. I know this city like the back of a woman's back. Mamma mia.
Yeah, this is like an advertisement. I thought it was a highlight.
No, as soon as you are elected mayor, everyone in the city
what happened
immediately
there?
hates you. And in that way, I am already one step ahead of the game.
Remy Youssef. Oh, come on.
I want to be mayor so I can deliver a better New York. Free healthcare, affordable housing, free Wi-Fi. As mayor, can I make that happen? I'm not sure yet. But together, we're gonna find out that the answer is no.
He's just a lion SOB. Oh, dude. If you guys ever get a chance, I think SNL is obviously trash at this point, but there was a really funny one they did years ago called George Washington's Dream or Vision of the Future.
Oh yeah,
with the metric system and stuff like that, dude. It was so freaking funny. We will measure our things in yards, but only in certain sports. I mean, it was just.
I'm sure they were collecting money on USAID as well, in some way, shape, or form. So.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yes, they were.
They have to clean up their act if they're going to survive because they're losing their audience. So. They've made some interesting hires recently. I think Cam Peterson from Kill Tony, who's just started a few years ago in stand-up, and they hired him. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So they're making some interesting hires, like I said, to get the crowd back.
Interesting. Oh, and I found it, guys. I knew it'll come back up. I found I didn't mislabel it, but I labeled it mic drop, and it really wasn't a mic drop, so it's not really.
Oh, and Shane Gillis, who got fired from Saturday Night Live, was a guest on Saturday Night Live this past weekend. They just didn't show him. He was the guy in the beret.
Really?
So,
That's hilarious.
So it's like a 9-minute clip if anybody wants to watch it.
That's hilarious. All right, here we go. A little clip on voters on Fox.
The difference between,
or actually, excuse me, more about immigration. I would think.
Being kind, and to me, my faith is one thing is being nice to people from different lands, but they also have to be respectful of our laws. And everybody wants to come to the United States because we have a great economy, we have a lot of opportunity, but there's a process to do that. My family has been here since at least the 1700s. There's no one that gave us a free $1,400 debit card. No one gave us a free apartment. No one gave us anything free. We had to work for it. So there is a process. And if we respect all people, that means that the people that come here need to respect our laws. And that's all that we're saying. We allowed 20 million immigrants in here legally since 2000. How much is too much, and how much are we going to put the burden on the taxpayers? Because the money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just common sense.
So, Maria, I see you nodding.
The difference between
pretty common sense, right?
Well said.
I mean, just nailed it, right? Nobody's giving us free, and that woman, $1,400 a month. The girl that we were showed earlier was $4,300 a month. Freaking crazy. Now here's something I wouldn't have done on one of the platforms we're on years ago. But Lisa, any comments else you want to make on that one? But
no, just to say that the $1,400 a month probably isn't the sum total of the benefits that they get. There's a lot of free. Remember when they were staying in the hotels, they get free meals a day, their laundry done, this, that, and the other. They probably get food vouchers, all kinds of different things, And then don't forget all of the benefits that come from these various charities, that help the illegal migrants too, being funded from USAID. We haven't had much from them recently.
No, not much at all. And this was a little hat tip from Wheezy. It sent this. She said, "Hey, let's put in 1111 into the boards here." And notice, I don't know if you guys are noticing anything here, Tucker, but nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Where we go one, we go all. Leak turns into a flood. Well done, Patriot. Got popcorn. Happy Friday. Here to the end. You'll never be alone. Just tweeted, got popcorn. What a coincidence. There's a lot of these I thought got popcorn, but statements need to be made. Operators have died. People have died during this and stuff like that. A week to remember. Stop the clock. Think logically. First private, second public. What did you guys take that as to be? I mean, this is what is this, a 2020, 2019 post? 18. Okay, this one was 2018, guys. A week to remember, think logically. First is going to be private, second public, Blackwater on guard, evidence kills, these people are stupid. All right, so what did you guys take that as to mean back then? I'll go with Lisa first, but first is private, second would be public. I'll just let you guys give any interpretation that you have on that, and then I'll let mine be known after. But what do you think that meant?
It could be, you know, there's multiple meanings, but one that comes to mind is the unsealed indictments being well, the sealed indictments being unsealed. Sealed indictments would be private, you know, the hearings and stuff like that, and then once they're unsealed, they become public, like James Comey, you know.
Yes.
But there's a lot of unsealed indictments, or there have been a good few unsealed indictments more recently, and there's much more to come. So that's where I would go to first. But it's not the only meaning that I can think of, but it's the only one I'm going to give right now.
Gotcha.
Based on our talk last episode on President Trump still in his first term, maybe it's his terms.
Did you want me to play that clip that you want to use dropped of the doctor?
It's like
there?
28 minutes long.
Oh.
It's a lot. I just did the whole clip of us talking about it. I didn't do a compilation yet. I don't know.
No, well, the other one about that doctor guy that you dropped. So I think you said, "What a coincidence" or whatever. But yeah, I mean that's crazy. And just for anybody who doesn't have it, I'll drop it in the chat for you guys. Bad-boys.us. You can actually look up a lot of these things. Visitors, you got sealed indictments, 610,000 unsealed, 84,000 remained, 525,000.
Yeah, but how many
racketeering? Bing.
Is it no that with each sealed indictment, Mike? What is it what's the coverage, the length and breadth?
It says CLS 1 through 99 because I think there's can't be 99 people can be included in the indictment.
Yeah, something like that. So each indictment represents multiple people or multiple indictments. I can't remember which, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So what the figure that you see, you can multiply that by X number of times, you know?
Oh yes, absolutely. And I'm loving it. And
RICO cases, can you look that up?
Her name was Rico. Well, this is what I got pulled up. I clicked on to all and then racketeering.
Case search, but you just put Rico.
Oh, Florida. That's the grand conspiracy. Are you going to talk about that?
Florida?
You can type Rico in there.
There's a video from John Solomon.
Oh, yes. You
might want to update some people on it, what's going on. He's got some legit information, in my opinion.
I don't know how to get rid of this, guys. Do you have any idea how to get rid of that?
Yeah, click the emoji symbol down next to the microphone. Go over left. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Bing, bing.
Oh, what an idiot Mike is. Okay. See, told you. You guys think you think I'm joking. Here we go. Let's pop this one back up. Bring this up for Mr. Solomon. Love me some John Solomon, especially when he's talking about what he's about to be talking about. And here we go.
There is a real turning in for it. I think the big thing that's going to happen, Steve, I think the U.S. attorney in Miami is going to be made the key prosecutor, and this whole case is going to move down. And Jack Smith's final actions in Florida are going to move the case to Florida. And then we're going to go all the way back to maybe as early as 2014 in the IRS and look at this as one large grand conspiracy case to misuse the power of the FBI and the Justice Department to go after MAGA Nation. This is a MAGA dragnet. That's what you see here. And one FBI official I talked to today said what they did, they took a boat into the ocean and they were towing to find any license plate they could tag on Donald Trump's car. They were simply looking for anything. You don't do criminal investigations that way. You have to have a reason to look at Americans. That didn't happen here, according to the people who've reviewed this evidence.
Where is this investigation going to go, and what are the next, you believe, major reveals we're going to see?
I think some of the people who were part of Arctic Frost are going to get both congressional and grand jury subpoenas. People will be hauled before the court and forced to answer. And I want to remind people something that Jim Jordan said on our show last night. Jack Smith's two top deputies have taken the Fifth Amendment have taken the Fifth Amendment. Prosecutors have taken the Fifth Amendment about what they did in this case. What does that mean? They think they may have engaged in criminality. You can't take the Fifth Amendment if you don't think you have criminal liability. That is a stunning thing. We don't normally see prosecutors and FBI agents saying, I'm taking the Fifth. You know something serious is here. And I think what's going on now is that people are starting to get grand jury subpoenas. I've been talking to defense lawyers. There was about 20 or 30 that have gone out in the last couple of weeks. The big conspiracy is now being put together. Now, whether a grand jury indicts, whether you get convictions, we'll see. But they're looking at a decade as one criminal machine, that the Comey, Garland, Jack Smith era was an ongoing criminal enterprise like a mob or mafia or drug kingpin. And the crimes were violating innocent American civil liberties to try to score a political score in politics. That is so extraordinary. I don't think I ever would have uttered those words, ever thought I would utter those words as a journalist. That's what went on here. All right, listen, Jack Smith is at the origins of the IRS case. There are emails between him and Lois Lerner that we focused on and some other people in the Justice Department. That same group carries all the way through the raid at Mar-a-Lago. The prosecution's up to 24. I think they're going to look at that as, hey, this was an effort to drain Republicans of money, reputation, maybe put some in prison to make sure that the populist movement that Donald Trump was building across America could be side-railed. They failed, and now because they failed, and we now have people like Kash Patel and Pam Bondi turning this evidence up, I think people could end up going to prison for this. I think we're moving towards that direction. And the evidence is really strong. I mean, I had career FBI agents, very non-political look at this last night, like, my God, I've never seen anything like this in my life. What are we doing? This isn't FBI work. This is political opposition work. When people who wore the badge for 40 years start saying that about their old agency, you know something bad is rotten in Denmark.
Ooh, I'm loving it. And more people taking the Fifth Amendment, huh? That's pretty interesting. You know what they should do is to somebody like Jack, what is it? Jack Smith, right? What they should do with his deputies is they should offer them immunity. Give those two guys immunity, right? The two guys that are pleading the Fifth. Because that way, when you give them immunity, they can't plead the Fifth, right? I think there would be a lot worse eggs to, or at least give one of them immunity. I think a little.
They would be prime candidates for pleading the Fifth, or for squealing if they plead the Fifth,
right?
So, yeah, we'll see.
They're concerned, but obviously.
They're basically admitting to guilt. So this is interesting.
And I think there's some other people that pleaded the Fifth, wasn't it, to do with Biden and whether he was competent and all of that? the auto pen people.
like everybody.
All refused to speak. Remember that?
I absolutely do. And you had the doctor, you had, I mean, would they even say that? Like one of his top advisors saw him, I think once or something like that, once or twice, and one of them never even saw Biden. So yeah, whatever was going on during those 4 years, I don't know exactly where they were, but my guess is they weren't in Washington, D.C.
Kamala Harris was being interviewed by somebody, I can't remember who it is, but she was saying that she thought that Biden was 100% competent whilst he was in office.
Well, that's the cover for the auto pen. So.
She looks rough as a camel's butt in a sandstorm. Really. She really does. She just looks like haggard from all of the alcohol. Like, I couldn't believe it. She just looks, I don't know, 20, 30 years older than what I remember. You know, because she's doing the book tour, you know, she's doing a lot of interviews, and that was the last thing that I heard from her. And she said it with a straight face as well.
Wow. Unreal.
Which kind of leads us into the auto pen and how everyone's starting to figure out that all those signatures in EOs are about to be null and void. Seems like.
Oh, I gotta see if I can
find the pardons. The only pardon was Hunter's. That was the real signature. So that's leading to something. So we're all seeing they all colluded together. I think it's all going to be together, as John Solomon said.
I gotta see if I can find this for you guys. I forgot where exactly it was. course, it's going to give me a hard time. Did you guys ever see the website on the White House where it went into all of the different things that it was showing? Like essentially all the layouts on the website. It was showing.
Yeah, I have it. You know, the different stages.
Yeah, like where it went into like, the auto, obviously it showed the auto pen, but it was like Bill Clinton, had an intern here.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, well, is that was on whitehouse.gov, right?
Where is it?
Monica. I had no plans on pulling it up, but I thought it was worth hopping in if
There you go. I got the article here. There you go.
Pop that bad boy. And ding.
I got a screenshot for you, and then
here we go. Let me pull up White House. Here we go. Get away. White House, check out. It says, here we go. White House, check out the history of the building and all the BS Dems do here. Right? And so here's the deal. The timeline on the White House official website, which lays out the different renovations from the building's initial construction, the end of the 18th century to President Trump's newest project, Grand Ballroom, maybe decrying. Look at this. They had all this stuff. This is, we showed it to Hulk pulled up the link last week from the actual website of the White House. But look, it's 2012 Muslim Brotherhood visit. Obama hosts members of the Muslim Brotherhood, a group that promotes Islamic extremism and has ties to Hamas. It has been designated a terrorist organization by nearly a dozen nations. Tenants Pavilion, okay. Cocaine discovered. And then over to the Trans Day of Visibility. I mean, dude, that was legendary that they put on there.
Yeah, but it's interesting that they've left out a lot. So, Obama didn't just associate with the Muslim Brotherhood. He had them as his personal advisors. Yes?
Oh, boy.
His personal advisors within, during his presidency. And then, with the Transvestite Day, it wasn't just the Transvestite Day. I think, didn't they rename something like Easter Monday Transvestite Day? Yeah.
Trans Day of Visibility, I think they called it.
Yeah, but what was that day normally? It was a holiday.
Oh.
And it's a general holiday for all. And it was a religious holiday, a Christian holiday. That was the day that they chose.
Passover, maybe?
No, it was Christian. It was Christian.
The AI is telling me International Transgender Day did not turn into or replace an existing widely recognized holiday. It was established by activists, creating a day which focuses.
No, they did, and they rolled back on it when there was a lot of pushback against it. And President Trump brought it up at a number of his rallies, and they rolled back on it. So AI isn't telling you the truth.
Well, it was around Easter. I know that was.
Yeah, it was designated on an Easter day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Easter because it coincided with Jesus, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Absolutely, and then they roll back on it. So AI is not telling you the truth.
Oh, and they never are. So yeah, you can definitely never.
Bit of whitewashing there,
Listen, it says. So here's Reuters fact checking. U.S. President Joe Biden did not set Transgender Day of Visibility to be held on Easter Sunday every year. The Visibility Day is marked annually on March 31st, but the day on which Easter Sunday is celebrated changes each year. Okay, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was just a big mockery. And look, you got these idiots. Like, do you have a clue of what was going on at all? Like, what planet were you living on when this happened? Pretty sure the Coke was Don Jr.'s. Like, Gossip Girl, XO. Really? Oh my, I mean, sometimes these people are just so far gone, guys. It's absolutely crazy. All right, so we're coming up on the 2-hour mark here, guys. Was there anything, because I did put some of you guys' links aside, but I want to make sure if there's anything that you guys had dropped in, which I saw there was a couple other things. Oh yeah, I thought this one was worth playing too. And I thought this was, it was a pretty good interview, I think. And of course, she tried to do her little aha, got you moment. What are you trying to do to open up the federal government? It's the Democrats. Love it. All right, here we go. Little minute clip here from El Presidente.
Mr. President, you just negotiated this one-year trade deal with China. But as you know, the Chinese, they think in 100 years.
Sure.
They play the long game, including on our own soil.
We play the long game, too.
Our own intelligence agencies say the Chinese have infiltrated parts of the American power grid and our water systems. They steal American intellectual property and Americans' personal information. They bought American farmland. How big of a threat is China?
It's like everybody else. We're a threat to them, too. Many of the things that you say we do to them. Look, this is a very competitive world, especially when it comes to China and the U.S., and we're always watching them, and they're always watching us. In the meantime, I think we get along very well, and I think I think we can be bigger, better, and stronger by working with them as opposed to just knocking them out.
Mr. President, you just negotiated this one-year trade deal with
as opposed to knocking them out. Oh, and of course,
I like that line. We play long game too.
Yeah, we play the long game too. Yeah, I don't know. We still got the rhetoric going back and forth with President Trump and Putin, but I feel like that's all. I think they've already made an agreement like years ago. And yeah, I'm going to talk some crap about you, and you can talk some crap about me, but we got this at the end of the day. We got some deals. That's what I believe anyways, but we'll see. We'll see how this stuff lands when it does land out in the next many months. I don't know when this stuff's going to happen, but China will behave under Trump. So what do you guys think about the Chinese relationship? Do you guys think that in some way, shape, or form they're working with we'll go with Mac first. Do you think that they are just generally enemies as portrayed for the world, or you think maybe President Trump and Xi have some canoodling, or they've done some action behind the scenes? Mac.
I think that President Trump and Xi have a really good relationship. I think there's an understanding and a respect there. And following this whole thing, inside and out, it seems like each country, what they're envisioning is each country have their own personality. I think we played a clip before, like each country be their own star, and live peacefully together instead of trying to compete to overtake the other country. And we can tell through all this that there were entities trying to overtake our country, and China was a big participant in it. And the president says he doesn't blame them because the stupid people on our side allowed it to happen. So, President Trump does have a little sympathy, and you got to realize there's over a billion people in China, and it's not the people's fault. So he's trying to do this very peacefully and diplomatically. And I think that President Xi also knows where he's at and, how much power the United States have. And there is going to be a negotiation, and I think they'll find a good middle ground. But there are people, in the CCP that probably don't want this to happen because they've been brainwashed into America bad or, everyone else bad, whatever it is. And, he has to fight his own cabal, as we talked about. Each country has their own. That's my take.
Yeah, they got their own deep state, that's for sure.
And there were recently military people that were removed. I don't know the proper term, but they were removed. It was right before President Trump's meeting with Xi, maybe a week or two before. If I can find that article, I'll let you know.
Okay, Miss Lisa, any guesses or best input on China and USA, Mr. Xi?
Yeah, but I'm going to take a little detour. It's the same thing, but I think meanwhile everybody's focused on what's going on with Putin, what's going on with Xi, and all of that. President Trump is implementing his own plan, art of war style, and it's mostly based on business and making sure America is back in business, and that kind of leadership goes on into the future. So, if you look at trade, if you look at the various different industries that he's supporting, the data centers for a start, it's like, look, all industries are going to change. There's one thing that's going to kind of be the common denominator, under many industries, and that is AI, large language models, and also digital data management. Yes, America's already the leader, but at the same time, it's like, you've got companies, large, huge corporations that are saying, I'm in construction. I've been in construction for decades. And now guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start building data centers, and we're going to turn that corner. I recently listened to a video. I think it was held somewhere in Saudi or Dubai, I'm not sure. But there was Jamie Dimon, there was the head of Blackstone, there was the head of Intel, there was the head of all these huge companies. And they were all talking about what they're dealing with now, what's going to happen in the future. And basically, it is like AI and data management and things like large language models, so you've got automation, robotics, and all of that type of thing. It's going to be leading the way for almost any industry, whether you're in the telecoms industry, whether you're in the digital industry, if you're running blockchain, what does crypto run on blockchain, then you're going to need data center services. And that is where President Trump has aced it so far. Aced it, really, And the big leaders, it was interesting to hear them speak. And, they didn't have a lot to say about what President Trump was actually doing wrong, And obviously China's in that race too, So I think this superficial, I'll call it superficial, not literally, but this friction supposedly between President Trump and Xi and all of that. We know Putin knows more about Bitcoin and blockchain and all of that than most leaders around the world, and he has done for years. They created their own equivalent of the internet system and stuff like that. But I think that it's more he is, just going great guns in getting that sorted out and making sure America stays the leader. And then don't forget all of that kind of technology that rolls into defense, and having the best defense. You're not going to be able to have the best defense without having the best data services, interoperability and all of that. So I just think that it's like, yes, that's on the surface and in the media, but in the background, he's going great guns in making sure America will continue to lead the world in that area, which is going to take over and lead almost every industry that there is.
Hell yeah. And you guys remember too, and I think it was Mac that dropped this link here, CCP expels 9 military leaders linked to Xi ahead of key meeting. And I'm trying to pop up to see if I can find it. You guys remember there was like Chinese were arrested during some meeting that they were having, and I think Xi was like right next to the guy as they were pulling him away, and he's like,
Yeah.
whatever, sorry.
They've got their own deep state,
Exactly.
They've got their own deep state, and that deep state is connected to, the world network of the cabal. Yes. Have a look who created communism.
Wow.
That's one for the listeners. Have a look who really created communism. Have a look who really supports communism. Have a look who kind of is starstruck about the way that of communism in China, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, and I just thought it was interesting. But, this right here is CCP taking military leaders that are linked to the president, right? He's the ruler or whatever you want to say of China. So it's interesting. Are they trying to pull people that are loyal to him? Because all these at the top of the pictures, they all say member of Xi's faction, every one of them. member of Xi's faction. Well, he's the president. Well, wouldn't you want people members of his faction in your military? Apparently they don't.
What happened to Trump? Didn't they target all of the people around Trump for years? You know, it's the same thing. It's the same MO. If that's true, then it's the same MO. You know, that's what they do. They try and take away their kind of buffer, which is their people, their network. You know, just what they did to Trump. You know, they jailed Navarro. They attacked his sons. They did everything. You know, even Melania they attacked. So it's nothing new. Nothing new. That's all you can do when somebody's a leader. You know.
This is Hu Jintao. It says, "Holy ish." This is 2022, October 22, 2022. Says, "Holy ish, the ex-president of China just got manhandled out of the National Congress live on TV. Chinese TikTok has already banned searches for Hu Jintao, so this is serious. The equivalent of Trump arresting Obama at the State of the Union." So yeah, I mean, clearly there was some reason, and as he kind of went off, he was kind of looking towards Xi to be like, "Hey, what's going on, buddy?" And he's kind of like, got that face like, "What do you want me to do?" Like, yeah, sorry, get your ass out of here.
I thought he said something beforehand.
To Xi? He might have. Or Xi to him. He's just watching. Yeah, he said he was about to say something right there. He did say something. Like, hey, we got your arrest
on purpose. That's done on purpose. That's to send a message, you know, to probably the Trump and the good guys. Like, I'm doing my part here. And then this article is like very similar. I don't know which way it reads as far as reality because I'm not familiar with China much, but found it very interesting that it could be what we've been talking about, that they're getting rid of their cabal, like we're all talking about.
Yeah. And look at that red folder. I mean, China, you know, probably have all red folders over there, but I find it interesting that he did pull up a red folder here. See? We've been following the red folder with Trump for since the pause, as we can call it. But all right, it's time to start rounding out the show, guys. Anything else you want to hit really quick before we round out, or do some final thoughts? Some final thoughts action?
I posted a video down below on your chat about Trump's Asia trip. Do you think that was covered already?
I don't
by
think
Lisa?
so. I don't know. I don't know.
I felt like this was
last week. Didn't we cover that last week where he went to meet Indonesia and was it Cambodia and somewhere else? Or was it? No, it wasn't Indonesia. They had Malaysia. Anyway, I think we covered some of it last week.
Well, they did a pretty good job.
Trump didn't just.
Yeah, let's see. It's a minute and a half, so we can bang this out and then we'll get out of here.
Trump didn't just make a deal, he flipped the global supply chain. For decades, China dominated 80% of the world's rare earth processing, the elements that power the modern world. From fighter jets and electric cars to smartphones and AI servers, every system depended on materials refined in Beijing's orbit. Then, in the span of 72 hours, that control began to shift. October 24th, Malaysia signs a mineral pact. October 25th, Thailand joins with a processing deal. October 26th, the framework is revealed. China blinks. Behind the headlines of tariffs and trade wars was a strategy years in motion to move rare earth production away from China and into the hands of U.S. allies like Malaysia, Australia, and Cambodia. Each agreement redrew the map of global technology, one deal at a time. What the world saw as chaos, unpredictable tweets, sudden tariffs, and economic shocks, was in fact a long game to secure America's technological independence. Every move tightened control of the resources that define power in the 21st century. That's not chaos. That's strategy. The world saw tariffs. He saw tactics. That's how power sticks.
I think they did a pretty good job summarizing us.
That's what I was just saying. You know,
I know.
everybody's watching the friction and stuff, and it's like, no, Trump's just getting on with the business. You know, don't forget he sorted out Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, where Rwanda invaded the Democratic of Congo. Democratic of Congo have got loads of rare earth. The first thing that the guy did, who runs that country, is to say to Trump, listen, you help us sort this out, and we will give you access to our rare earth minerals. There are 27 different locations in Africa that have rare earth minerals. Guess what? There's only 8 that are mined right now.
Oh, wow.
Yes? And Trump is helping people sort out their problems and also can become a business partner. You know, what did he do with Intel? You know,
Was it the Congo president that offered the right to mine? Yeah.
That's what. Well, it's not the right to buy it, to work with
mine.
them in partnership. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but he can have a share of the mine. They've got Congo's got loads of resources, and rare earth metals isn't the only thing that they have. They've got tons of resources. They've got tons of gold. They got tons of everything that you can think of. Congo is like your original Jurassic Park. That's where they saw that 50-foot snake, you know, when they got the picture of it and stuff. They've got parts of that have never been explored, and it looks like Jurassic Park, you know. But he's been doing that all the whilst everybody's either been calling him out or saying that he's doing this, or oh my God, Russia and Ukraine and Israel, and Trump's just continued, and that's what I see, you know. There's a guy that came over to visit him not that long ago, and it's a company called DAMAC. If you look at DAMAC in somewhere like Dubai or something, you're going to see that it is a huge construction company. And that huge construction company, guess what? They're no longer going to be doing construction. He came over, he met Trump, and he's going to be going full on data centers and AI. Yeah. Huge company. And if you listen to him talk, I mean, I could send you, it's like not even a minute, but if you listen to him talk, you'll kind of understand what I'm saying. It's like people just maybe are just missing the mark as far as what is really going on in the world and in which way business is going. I can just give you that as a last thing.
Sure. And it's interesting. I'm looking up here. I'm like, why? You know, so I asked Rock, like, why is it that China's the only country that does it? And it says, well, that's not true. Does about 90%. But then it says, reasons for their edge: cheap labor and lax environmental rules. Processing rare earth is a nightmare. It's full of toxic chemicals, acids, and radioactive byproducts that need careful and expensive disposal. In places like Europe or US, strict regulations make the cost a fortune to do it right. China, not so much. Waste dumping lets them crank out product way cheaper. So essentially, we're going to send all our stuff to be over to China, and they're going to dump all the ground, all the basically the side effects and byproducts just out into the land, right? Like, well, we don't want to do it. It's like, well, it's going to be more expensive to do it here, but we're going to ruin the world by letting China do it all.
Yeah, and you're also going to put China in. I just put that video at the bottom. It really is, you know, just so that people can crystallize what's really going on in the world. It's right at the bottom, the last thing in the channel, the very last thing. That you just hear him talk for like a minute. It's.
Want me to hear this guy or the?
No, you can. Oh, I can't see how long it is.
It's 4 minutes. All right, he talks right in the beginning here.
You can take it to the guy wearing the headgear.
The headgear. Oh, okay, right here. Here we go.
Because that's where he meets Trump in America.
Stop staring at my headgear.
He met Trump in America. Listen to this.
Heavily on data center and an artificial intelligence and infrastructure for the AI. I have today in 12 countries more than 20 data centers under construction, 5,000 megawatt of land with power, another almost 1,000 megawatt in US. I bought another 1,000 I'm going to buy soon.
So when you say you're focusing on the data centers, are you building the power infrastructure or the centers themselves?
No, data centers, and I take the power from the electricity company. We build the substations.
So you're well and truly in the infrastructure.
Yes.
How do you respond the criticism that we're just building too many data centers, too much electricity, too much? We can't cope with what's necessary. You're talking about the amount you're building.
True, but the demand is crazy. I mean, I met OpenAI's, founder Sam Altman. I met Oracle senior executive. All of them I meet. The demand is beyond your thinking. I think the AI gonna change the world, and I'm an investor in a number of companies from, AI, OpenAI, and XAI, and others, and Anthropic, and all of them. And I'm invested also in a number of companies in the forensic and in the application. But a lot of people are going to lose their jobs.
A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. It sounds like we're going to need a lot more power, right? If they're going to keep funding all this AI stuff and whatnot, it seems like we need more power than we have ability to make.
You have 15% extra power at the moment, but with the rise of data centers, then your requirement for the use of power is going up. Mike, here's some mathematics for you. I can't work it out. You make sense of it. So the use of data centers is increasing the need for power at 4% per year, but at the moment you have a 15% buffer. How does that stack up, Mac?
4 more years.
Less than 4 years.
Yeah, before you get to that kind of crunch point. But at the same time, Trump is looking at like mini or mini micro kind of nuclear power. Yes. So mini kind of processors or whatever, but there is that kind of technology, and there are new technologies of being able to generate power.
So I've been keeping up a little bit with that, and they're doing underground. Well, it's interesting. He said that you're testing nuclear again. That's one thing that came up this past week. And also the nuclear option was discussed. So that, I think, maybe multiple meetings going on. What was I going to say? The nuclear, they have, like, what are they called? They're miniature, like
mini reactors.
Yeah, reactors, or miniature nuclear reactors. And then on top of that, by the mid 2030s, we're going to have fusion reactors producing energy. That's what they say. That's when it's going to go public. It could be sooner. Who knows? And I'm assuming, and it's probably a bad thing to assume here, but there's probably some other things that are possible that have been suppressed. So President Trump maybe sitting on one of his trump cards on that.
Yeah, sitting on his Uncle Trump card.
Well, yeah, the free energy.
Free energy, you know what I mean?
The ultimate goal, but the interim times, where I'm just thinking how many years they're going to actually get this going. So yeah.
Crap. You know what, guys? I think Mac dropped it. Yeah, Mac dropped this one, and I never clicked on it. So I do want to click on this one. Then we got to make this the last one. Yeah, this one was very good too, and I think it tells a very interesting point of things. So we're not going to do it in the 4 full minutes or 3 full minutes, but I'm just going to read to you guys with the volume down the first minute or two here. This is MaQaveli here. We had to imprison 80,000 criminals to achieve this peace because entire generations have been left behind by previous governments. If those generations had been educated correctly, that would not have been necessary. We will make sure that in 15 or 20 years, another administration won't have to do it again because we could not educate the new generations. Because true independence also means educating them and sowing different seeds. Education isn't just teaching math or science. Education is shaping people. teaching respect, civic duty, discipline, and values. It's even teaching basic things such as saying thank you, please, and good morning. These small things should never have been lost. And he makes a great point. And, the very beginning part right there, guys, we had to imprison 80,000 criminals, right? And the difference here is most of the people that this guy picked up were advertising it with ink on their skin and their face and their back, MS-13 and all these different things. And on our side, we got people dressed up more like him with a suit and a tie, and that's their criminal organization or their home base is in front of a desk and a computer. So you got what look like businessmen and women and are, fronting themselves as congressmen and women and senators in some cases and ripping off the country. So it's a much more difficult, in my opinion, difficult task because it's not just like gangbangers sitting on the corner that we just take out everybody that's sitting in the corner here and throwing them in jail. But the point remains that we do in our country need to imprison a lot of people, unfortunately, that have it's gotten too bad to the point where, again, I'll say it for the 150th time, 117th time, they need to make examples of these people to the point where they will never, or anybody will ever think about doing what they've done and get back to the system that we've gotten to right now, which is just absolutely horrible. So, we'll do
space shot. Real quick. El Salvador has a total of a little over 6.5 million people. They arrested 80,000 criminals. Do the ratio with how many people live in the United States, and times that times 80,000, and that could be the number of people. Rough estimate.
What do they have for a population?
6.58 million people.
6 million. Oh crap! So it's basically 60 times, right? 60 times 6 would be, say, 360.
Yeah.
So yeah, we might need to do 80,000 times 60, which would
We're
be
hoping that it wasn't that bad. We're hoping it's not that bad.
Is that 4.8 million or something like that? If roughly, we'll say.
Well, it's a lot of people.
Wowza. Okay. All right.
You have over 10,000 murderers.
Jeez.
Remember that figure? Somewhere around there?
Yeah,
that have been convicted of murder or something in the United States, illegal migrants.
That's crazy.
Those figures. I'm sure it was around 10,000. Could have been 30,000. Right, it was around that figure.
And one other quick point on those data centers, they now fall under the Department of Energy.
Clearance.
Yep. So national security, it's going to be handled by Q clearance, like you said.
I like it very much. You guys can think of anything else on the way out. Let me just thank a couple people here really quick. Thank you to Whippenspur123, who had gifted out 5 subscriptions to the channel. Appreciate that. And then Infowars Man, I just saw this one, gifted out a subscription. And also we had Dave, Mr. Micro Toolmaker, gifted out 10 subscriptions to the channel and a $55 Rumble Rant saying, where we go one, we go all. So I appreciate you for that. And somebody sent me over a Ko-Fi coffee. It just says unlisted person. So no name on that one. You know who you are. So thank you very much for that one. And I'm over here on the old foxhole, where I am going to thank One Thunder for the can. Thank you very mucho, One Thunder. And then I am heading over, and I'm releasing the old scratchings, heading over to D-Live on the way out of here. And guys, you see what I mean about the reach on certain platforms that say maybe new, for us anyways. I'll read it 1 second. So Durango Nibiru X and P Dancer, and then Saint Cosmic Dildo, and that is a deer and a cucumber, in case anybody's head was wandering. So dropping 50 diamonds into the old bucket, and then I am releasing those scratchings. Where was I going to go with this one? Say something. I just missed it. It went off my head here.
About the new platforms and the
So the
Viewers,
platforms. So check it out, right? We got almost 1,000 people. We got about 800 people on Rumble, okay, with 37.4 thousand wonderful followers, supporters, subscribers, whatever you want to say. Okay, then you take that number, multiply that times 5. That's the reach I have over on YouTube, where we have 256 people watching. Huh. I've said it before. That platform is mostly dead, and it's not just us. It's not just the conspiracy stuff. It's regular people doing like MMA videos and sports videos. The reach is just not what it was over there on YouTube. So, unfortunately, it's of a dying breed. You know, we haven't had more than 350 people or something like that watching us live. So, yeah, but we'll still push it out.
A Cracker Barrel, isn't it? They did it to themselves.
Oops, I did it again. Yeah, they do. Well, we'll see how it is. All right, Lisa, final thoughts on the way out of here.
Not much to say, actually, except for, what I was saying. I think that's the main thing to look out for, the business that President Trump is doing, the trade that he's doing. That's the in thing. That is what is really going on. I think everything else is like a smokescreen, and he's done a pretty amazing job, I would say, given he hasn't been in office a year. All of that in a year. All of the wars as well. It's a pretty good record. Yeah, and it is a record. It should be in the Guinness Book of Records. Really.
Yeah, he's only stopped 8 wars, but we're gonna give some woman who I've never heard of in my life the Nobel Peace Prize because she brought democracy to, what was it, Argentina or something like that. I'm like, I don't even know who this woman is, but Mac, final thoughts, sir. Who the hell was that lady?
I've just got a couple things I guess we didn't get to cover as usual. Brennan has been shown a couple times getting heated when asked about the Russia hoax. He is pretty much a liar and probably is going to go down for, what is it, treason or sedition or conspiracy, one of the three.
This is treason, yes.
The movie Nuremberg's coming out November 7th. Found that oddly timing.
Ooh.
Yeah. FBI in Mississippi, they arrested, I think, at least 14 law enforcement, and they were involved in smuggling drugs with the cartel. So we're getting them out inside the United States, which is great. Pray for the Christians in Nigeria. They have been going through some genocide. It's been crazy. President Trump's been truthing about it, and he's threatened to incorporate the U.S. military to fix it if Nigeria government doesn't.
Yeah, many more. I think it's 500,000 people have been killed in Nigeria. I do have the video somewhere of the guy saying it, and he's saying, people are only talking about Israel, but they're not talking about what's happening to Christians in Nigeria. Nigeria have a pretty big population, and a lot of people have been killed and continue to be killed. And not one of those people who talk about democracy, who talk about human rights and all of that, not one of them is saying anything. So it's good of President Trump to highlight it, because nobody's talking about it. It is not kind of covered in the news or anything like that. And all of these social justice warriors and all of that, they just ignore it,
All right.
I caught wind of it a little bit ago, and I've been tracking it. And then I heard about this, and I was just like, "Oh my God!" And I was just really thankful that President Trump stepped in, because it just needs to stop. And not to point fingers, but the people that are killing them are Muslim. So it's not like Christians killing Christians.
Yeah, but then you've got to add the fact that these people are paid rebels. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Most of them. Look at the technology that they use, the guns and all of that. They ain't coming from Africa. Yes, they're coming from Europe and all over. Yeah, and all of that. and they get paid. You know, all the child rebels and all of that, they get paid. Somebody's paying them, and it's usually the West. The West, that's how it works. You know, these things are controlled. They did not just spring up naturally, you know? And again, you've got the kind of fueling the Muslim-Christian divide as well. So I just wanted to add that.
Very good. Yeah,
And then another movie.
Oh, remember that, MaQaveli, really quick? Remember well, Lisa just touched on it quick, but I remember, I don't know if it was movies, but I know it was a real thing too. Like she was talking about, they had like roving gangs of like hundreds of like young kids, you know, under teenage age, running around from like, you know, village to village, just killing everybody that went, you know what I mean? So it was already a horrible situation over there, and then now you have more people getting killed over here. But last thing for you, sir.
Oh,
go ahead, Lisa.
One more thing that you know, the guy who runs Blackwater, the founder, Eric Prince, you know, he was I can't remember what date this was, October the 9th, you know, he's considering using his private military to protect Nigerian Christians, you know, and he was seeking funding from the Pope. And notice how the Pope doesn't mention anything about it. None of them.
Wow. That's crazy. That would be awesome if Eric Prince could get over there and save some of those folks. That would be definitely good. But all right, guys, we got to wrap it up. I got to get going.
Can I just tell you one thing? And then you
tell
can
me anything you want. Go right ahead.
It's right there at the bottom. You can hear it from yourself.
Bing.
Yourself. Yeah.
Bing. Bing. Okay.
Right at the bottom. It's very short.
World, and you want to love the world, and you want to see a better world. Your interest is not just free Palestine. I mean, there are more people dying in Nigeria than are dying in Palestine. I can tell you that last year alone, over 500,000 Christians were killed in Nigeria just in 1 year. And nobody's protesting. The activists are not saying anything. For me, that's hypocrisy. In the north of Nigeria, Christians are being killed daily because the Islamic militants don't want Christians to exist in the north of Nigeria. They want to see a world where there are no Christians at all. And they want to conquer not just Nigeria, they want to conquer Africa, they want to conquer Europe, and they want to conquer America. The younger generation who want to live in a better world must speak out today. And I'm calling on all advocates of a free world to
wake up. Yeah, get loud about that, guys. I mean, 500,000 Christians in a year.
1 year. In
That
1
is
year.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
60, 12, what, 5,000 a month or 50,000 a month, something crazy like that. But yeah, it's way too many people just for, you know, wanting their faith. And I wouldn't have any problem with, you know, if a person wants to be a Muslim, that's fine. But like when you get into being a militant Muslim or a militant whatever, even if you were a militant Christian, I would have a problem with you. If like you were like, hey, we're Christians, so we need to go kill all the Muslims, I'd be like, no, that's kind of an issue. So, you know, it comes down to that, right? These people just want goodness, it seems, wiped off the planet. So that was episode 181 of Hold the Line. We do appreciate you guys hanging out with us on these Mondays. Share this out, especially get outside of our echo chamber, guys. We do appreciate you guys sharing out to everybody here on the social media networks, but try to do us a favor and get one out to somebody who doesn't ever look at this stuff. You know, get some new eyes on this, so you guys have some more like-minded folks to chat with. Thank you to the mods again. You guys rock, helping myself and many others over these last many years. Very selfless help, and we do appreciate that. And that's about it. And so for Mac and Lisa, we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots. And actually, before I finish it, again on YouTube, or the outro will play, and then the video, and then it'll say that we're ending on all the other platforms. It'll say thank you for watching, and I'll play one more video for everybody who is not YouTube. It's only because YouTube will clip that part out. So we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Hello, special is happening in here. That's right, it's Brackets and Jackets, bringing it back, but Brackets and Jackets, special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks, Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see, this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh, boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right, Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jackets Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. Dropping red pills in the best kind of way. This is Brackets and Jackets for the denizens of islands.